It's been 21 years since Arsenal won the Premier League title. A lot of people talking up their chances, third time lucky this time. But how defining could yesterday have been for Arsenal and their Premier League title hopes? Letting a 2-goal lead slip as Aston Villa came from behind to draw at the Emirates leaves Arsenal 6 points behind leaders Liverpool, who have that game in hand, the Merseyside derby at Goodison next month. Where does this leave Arsenal's title hopes for you, Dean?
I mean, they're still right there. Obviously, it's out of their hands in terms of if Liverpool can continue the way they have been going, then it's going to be very difficult. Yesterday's a big blow because you're 2-0 up at home with a magnificent home record that Arsenal have got and haven't lost. And you expect at that point, at the 2-0, you're going to go on and win the game. I know they didn't have Saliba, but still, with the players they had out there, you would have expected them to be able to finish the job. And eventually it feels like points lost, especially when you get to the point where Liverpool look as if they're going to drop points. I just wonder whether that might have played a part. It's hard to not think about those things, that they would have been watching what was going on before their game. And then that just adds pressure to them as Aston Villa got that first goal.
Manor Solomon's just scored for Leeds United, by the way, as long as it's given, and they'll go on top of the Championship. It stands very early goal in the derby against Sheffield Wednesday. Jamie, it referenced the table there at the top, but is it more about Arsenal's performances that the reason we're raising questions about their ability to challenge at the moment?
Well, I mean, yeah, look, you look at the game yesterday, and I think for most part of it, I thought they played really well. You know, they really took the game to Villa. They was all over them. You know, I thought Havertz played really well. But it's, you know, they're letting teams back in. And you know, Aston Villa are a good side. They ain't going to give up. And then, you know, you look at the way that they performed in the second half and they kind of fell apart. And then it become desperation times. You can see the fans at the end, they're absolutely devastated. Feels like a loss. Arteta was on his knees at the end of the game. So you look at it for Arsenal and you go, what we're getting wrong here? Because they are there or thereabouts, but they're not just quite doing enough. And Liverpool haven't been brilliant, by the way. I just think they've been really efficient. They weren't great against Brentford, 1-2-0. And Arsenal, they've kind of lost that momentum of winning games and keep going. Now, all of a sudden, teams play against them and actually think that they've got a chance of getting something from it. And you know, it's a bit like how Man City have lost that kind of invincibility. I feel like Arsenal they've not really kicked on as a team.
What about the handball yesterday as well, Dean? Arsenal thought that perhaps it would have been let go.
What do you mean?
Ollie Watkins said after
handball.
Ollie Watkins said he'd be disappointed if it was given against him. It's not the referee. The officials can't allow that, can they? It's like a sort of alley-oop or something.
Us forwards are hilarious, aren't we? I mean, Havertz knows it's hit his hand.
Yeah.
He
goes off celebrating.
In his mind, he's thinking, I know I've handballed this, but I've got to run off like I haven't.
Yeah.
So he'll know, yet he's running away like it's come off his stomach.
Yeah.
When it clearly has come off his arm. He's trying to say that it came off his stomach. It hadn't. We don't care. We will just claim any goal. We just will. So they've got to try and forget about that. I just think it's easy to really criticise Arsenal, I think, and say that they've not got the character for a Premier League fight. But you have got to put some context on it. No Saliba yesterday. No recognised right back. Ben White, one of the best, has been out for a long period now. The other replacement, Tomiyaso's been out. Partey's playing right back. Yeah. He was at fault for the Watkins equaliser yesterday because it's not natural to him to play that position when crosses are coming in. You're missing Saka, who's arguably one of the best right-sided attackers. I'm just saying,
it's a lot of excuses.
You give this to Liverpool. And take out Salah, and it does make a difference. Like
Konate was injured.
It does, but
yeah, he got injured, and they had players come in and made a difference. You know, like all right, Salah's a big player to lose, but you know the problem with Arsenal is,
but they're still at as many points as they did last season.
So reliant on
I mean, this is the Watkins goal. Partey's got him. Partey steps out like a midfielder, leaves Watkins, who just taps it in. Brilliant finish.
So why is he deciding to put Partey at right back and not someone else?
Who else does he put there? They're all injured, so he's having to put players out of position.
Everyone's got injuries.
But you don't take him out of midfield. I think you do put Partey there.
I think it's a look. I understand what you're saying, and injuries can be a problem. Spurs have had that. We're 15th. Let's not talk about Spurs.
We'll get there, don't worry.
But there's a lot of excuses for the fact that Arsenal ain't been good enough.
Yeah.
They haven't invested. They needed to buy players. You know, January come around. What's it? The 19th of January. You know,
It is.
who have they brought in to help out? You know, they're fighting for the title. They're close to Liverpool. They're in touching distance again, and they haven't put their money in the pocket to go and say we need to get reinforcements. We need players in the team. And you know, you can say they've got injuries. At the end of the day, the mentality is they ain't getting it done. They're not getting over the line. They haven't been good enough. Liverpool ain't signed anyone. They didn't sign anyone.
They signed a lot of people in 2023, didn't they?
All right, but they ain't signed anyone. The new manager's coming in, it's his first season, and they're going to win the league. And they're 6 points clear with a game in hand. Come on. You know, Arsenal's job this season was to beat Man City. Man City fell away. It was their time, Arsenal's moment, to win the Premier League. And Liverpool's come in with a new manager, same players, and they're rocking up and going to win the league. Arsenal ain't been good enough. They needed to be better this season, and they haven't done it.
Yeah, 89 points last season. Feels like they might be in with a shout if they're able to achieve that, but it looks unlikely. What do they need to win a title then, Dean? Is it as simple as signing a striker, or is Jamie getting at something there that it's not just about one player, it's about contributing more goals from all positions, potentially?
Yeah, they've been poor in front of goal, there's no doubt about that. You know, all aspects. Odegaard has been poor, Havertz has missed many chances. I mean, they're all guilty of it. So it's not like they're not creating the chances. And like James, they played well and created plenty of chances and didn't take them. And they have done in the recent weeks. But Arteta spoke about, you know, the changes that other teams, that Liverpool were able to make, and it made a difference in Núñez coming on and scoring for them. And he saying he hasn't got that on his bench yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, he pretty much only brought on Sterling. But that's down to you as a club and recruitment to try and continue to build, and you will constantly have it that they need a striker. And having been one myself, they are key. We are. You know, that's why we're the most expensive. That's why they're so hard to find. That's why every club seems to be looking for a striker, because when you play this sort of football now, and the patience that's needed, then when them chances come along, you've got to take them so you can control the game.
Also, in midfield, though, is there a contrast against Liverpool, Jamie, that you look at Liverpool's midfielders and they seem to have a goal in them, or maybe players like Declan Rice, for all his energy, doesn't necessarily regularly pop up and score?
I like Declan Rice, I do. I think he played well yesterday, and I think he takes a lot of stick because he's, you know, a £100 million player, he's English, people look at it. Odegaard, for me, he had injuries this season. He hasn't been, I wouldn't say...
One goal, I think, Odegaard.
Yeah, he hasn't been the same player this season. He struggled a little bit. You know, and who else have they played in there? Thomas Partey's played in there.
Marino.
Yeah, Marino's, you know, for me, I'm not convinced that he's a top player who's going to make a difference for Arsenal. Liverpool's midfield, they've stepped up. You know, Curtis Jones this season, I think, has been fantastic. He's been there. Gravenberch, we're talking about a holding midfielder. He stepped up to the plate and been fantastic. You know, McAllister again they've done players have stepped up when they need. Liverpool have looked at the moment and gone, I'll tell you what, lads, what a moment we've got here. Arsenal ain't great. Man City have completely fallen apart. Let's go and do the business. Every game, every moment they're going and fight to win. We're going to win. We're going to win. Arsenal, I just feel like it. You know, to almost lose that game yesterday. Really, it feels like it against Aston Villa when you're winning 2-0 and you're fighting for the title and you give it back. That can't happen.
What are your thoughts on Mikel Arteta then? He's been in the job for 5.5 years, got the FA Cup in the first summer. Is he the right man to get Arsenal over the line? Because they've been thereabouts for, 3 years?
It'd be harsh to say that he isn't, because I think he's done a really good job. And, you know, we forget where Arsenal were when Arteta come in. You know, they were, 7th or 8th. Tottenham were finishing above them. They was, a bit of a laughing stock. I remember them getting called Banter FC. So he has took them to a level where they're now... They were getting called Banter FC. I remember saying it.
Well-known phrase, yeah.
and then, so he has took them back to a level where, Arsenal are fighting for the Premier League title, Champions League football. They're a good side. They win games. But we don't know if he's the guy to win them the title because he hasn't done it before. So, you can say Guardiola's the guy, Conte's the guy. You could say, so many managers who have won Premier League titles, Mourinho, you'd say, yeah, he's the guy because he's done it before. Arteta's never done it. So it's hard to say if he is the guy. At the moment, you'd say, well, he's not, because he's not going to get it done.
Your thoughts?
I think he's done it. I think he's done everything other than that last tiny bit. I think what he's built, the team he's produced, the football at times they've played, the defensive solidity that they show continually. I think he's done a hell of a lot to the point where it's now just that last bit. Whether that's help from the board in terms of going, we can tell that you're there. Here's the players that you need in those key moments that could help get them over the line. But I think there were so many doubters over Arteta, and I still think there is, naturally, because he hasn't won the Premier League. But I think they're that close. I do.